that right to stay in this country exists as long as they face persecution. If they no longer face persecution where they come from, is the sort of suggestion, is the kind of understanding that they therefore should return home? Is the right to asylum temporary, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes, in legal terms, the right to asylum exists as long as you face a real well-founded fear of persecution on return. And
Right.
in terms of our legal system as well, we grant refugee status for a limited period of 5 years. The truth is that in most cases, we're talking about people who are fleeing from extremely unstable and dangerous places. And in most cases, refugees are here for the long term. Now, that's not because they would have chosen that. And I think it's really important. You spoke about different kinds of migrants, even second generation migrants and their relationships to the UK as being their home. It can be very ambiguous. But what is clear to remember, and what we have seen from the celebrations of Syrians on our streets over the last few days, is to remember that nobody takes a dangerous, life-threatening journey and comes to us penniless and homeless and asks for asylum unless they had no other choice.
Sure. So you talked about your friends there who have always dreamed of returning home. I would imagine that is true of many, many refugees, wherever they come from, and many asylum seekers. Do you think it's true for most of them? Or do you think actually just as many think, you know what, that was our past, we built a life here, our life is now in Britain? Perhaps that's even more common.
I think it's a mix. I think what you see, and this has been shown also to be the case for Ukrainians as well, we're infinitely complex as humans, aren't we? And we are capable of holding different desires and longings, and sometimes complex and contradictory desires and longings. People who have completely, dedicated themselves to building lives, careers, gained citizenship here in the UK, and believing, sometimes protecting themselves emotionally by saying, I don't want to return because they can't. Can then also always retain that longing to maybe walk down their streets again, to see the house that they had to leave again, and certainly the loved ones that they have left behind again. So I think that both can be held simultaneously within people, and that we need to recognize that people are complex. People have complicated lives, and these refugees from Syria, many of them will have been here for well over a decade. They are part of our communities, part of our lives too. And even if they are able to return, those links, which is a wonderful thing for the UK to think of, through being a place of sanctuary for Syrians, we have now forged links with the Syrian diaspora community, or a Syrian community that may well be free one day, walking down the streets of Damascus and of Idlib and of Homs, but they will always have connections back to our communities too. And that is a wonderful thing that we have done.